What's up, YouTube? It's Donnie once again. Today we're just gonna talk about the importance of, building something that actually lasts, building something meaningful, building something, that you can reflect on and, be proud of yourself. In our society today, a lot of materialistic things and a lot of materialistic things are the ones that's getting put first. I need better vocabulary, bro. I need better vocabulary, but we're gonna get into that, right? So as I was saying, it's like chasing money is cool, getting that car is cool, getting that crib is cool, all these things that we think is success. It's cool, it's fun, but does it really last though? Does it really fulfill you though? Does it really make your soul want to keep going, keep living? Does that stuff really give you energy? Does it give you something to look back on and reflect on? Like yeah, you might be able to look at your nice ass car and be like, I did that, but other than that, what do you gain from it internally, right? And I don't know, from a young age, I kind of always knew that. It's like I've always been chasing something bigger than, materialistic things. One is because even though I didn't grow up rich, I always had like a mindset that made me feel like I was rich. And I never really complained about money. Money for me, maybe in my family was an issue. Growing up with a single mom, we didn't have a lot of money. But personally for me, it's like, I know that if I'm a good person, the opportunities will come. I knew that in the future, I will have everything I've ever wanted, materialistically. I would gain everything I've ever wanted, and I've been thinking like that. And that has never gone away. So, chasing that stuff to me was never really meaningful, because it just didn't really make sense. I knew that it wasn't going to fulfill me. Every time I got a gift, every time I got something, it wasn't lasting. And I don't know, a lot of people might be able to relate to this, but on Christmas, when your family doesn't have a ton of money, you might not get all these gifts. And you have to really just appreciate the gifts you do have, because otherwise you're just gonna feel bad. You're gonna compare yourself. You're gonna feel bad. You're gonna see your friends getting all these new things, all this money, all this stuff. And what I learned was just to be grateful for what I do have, right? Because I understood that if I were to compare myself to what my friends were getting on Christmas, I would feel bad on a day where we're supposed to, be with our family, where we're supposed to be happy, where we're supposed to share love and all that good stuff, right? So I don't know, this mindset that I've always had was just, to be grateful for what I do have, and that, these things don't really fulfill me. I still feel the same. Whether or not I get a good gift or a fucking t-shirt, I still feel the same 5-10 minutes later. And what I'm getting to is that in today's society, in these generations now, it's like we want all this materialistic things, but that's not really what we want to build. And I'm telling you guys that's not what you're chasing, because first of all, if you get it, it's gonna leave you empty. It's gonna leave you empty. And second of all, you want to build something meaningful, build a legacy. You want to build something after your name, something that means something, right? These materialistic things, they don't really mean anything. They're just, other people have made it. It's a business, right? It's not anything special. It's just a way for someone else to make money off of you. So you got to understand that you're here to build something for yourself and for your family, the ones that are connected to you. Something that, will make you feel happy forever. That's the goal. It might not happen, but that's the goal. It might not seem realistic, but that's the goal, to feel free, feel happy, feel loved at all times. That's the goal. The goal is not to, you know, get $1 million. The goal is not to get a Lamborghini. The goal is not to get, you know, these new clothes, these new shoes, because at the end of the day, you can still be unhappy. You can still hate your life with all of this stuff, so it doesn't mean anything. And that's what I really want to, like, you know, talk about in this video, is that we're here to build a legacy, right? We're here to be meaningful people. We're here to make an impact on the world, on the people we love, on friends and family, right? That's what we're here to do, right? And how I'm doing it is gonna be completely different from how you may do it, because you might like different things than me. You might do things differently than me. But I always knew what I wanted to do. As I got older, I kind of knew how I wanted to go about things. Yes, you need money to live in this world. That's a no-brainer. You need money to live in this world. That's just how society is. And without it, we wouldn't really function well, right? So yes, we need money to live in this world. However, getting money isn't necessarily a problem, because money just flows to who you are as a person. And I know it sounds weird to believe to people that have, like, hearing this for the first time, but I know for me, like, I ain't never, like, have to actually, okay, that's cap, I would say, but, like, I was gonna say, like, I don't really have to try, but, like, what I'm basically saying is that the person I've always been has always gotten the right opportunities to succeed in life, to what I think was succeeding, right? Not to what anybody else was saying, but, like, just because of who I was as a person, that's the reason I got the opportunities to evolve as a person, to, you know, become better as a person, which led me to the opportunity to make more money, right? It all comes down to who you are as a person. You know, money's important, but if you are a bad person, you will lose all your money, right? If you make bad decisions, you will lose all your money. So the goal here isn't to make the most amount of money. The goal is to become the best person you can. That way, money will come to you. That way, opportunities will come to you, and then it is your what's the word? I don't even remember. But that's your chance. When the opportunities come, that's your chance to take it, because you are the person you need to be to get that opportunity. That's what I'm saying, right? I've always been the person I need to be to get the right opportunities. And when I wasn't, things did not go well for me, right? So right now it's like, I'll tell you guys like something, like I'll tell you guys the difference, right? I'll tell you guys a little story time. So as some of you guys may know, not all you guys, some of you guys just might be new to this channel in general, and if you're new, you might well hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I know I talk like really weird sometimes and all that shit, and I'm gonna be fixing that up, but I'm gonna talk about that later in the video, right? But so I was landscaping with a business partner, and this was new to me. I started landscaping right out of school, right out of high school, so this was 2024. In July I started, and you know, I was right out of high school. You know, I was trying to start something. I knew I wanted to do something, I just didn't know what. And you know, right after high school, I was kind of fading from all my friends, just because I was like getting tired of high school. You know how that gets. But you know, I was getting tired of high school, and I started doing what I actually wanted to do, which was clothes or a brand, you know. So I started pursuing that, and you know, some people would catch me at a local coffee shop, you know, editing clothes, designing clothes, whatever. Then I met my business partner, and we then started a landscaping business. Now, my business partner, he is crazy. He was, you know, not was, but he is like one of the best salespeople you'll ever meet, right? Very, very talented person. You know, he's very, very hardworking, and discipline rubs off on who you are with, right? It just does. That's just how it works. So we linked up, we started doing landscaping, and we started building a business. I know for me, and in that, well, me in general, I'm just a hardworking person. I'm ambitious, and I'm always trying to find a good opportunity, right? So I saw that opportunity and I took it, and I went with it because I'm a hardworking person, and I wasn't gonna let an opportunity pass up when I needed money most over the summer, right? So we started, and he's teaching me about sales. And I'm teaching him about marketing. At the time, I was in this marketing mentorship, so I was teaching him what I was learning there. And we just started applying this to our landscaping business. Now, over the summer in August, I started making like a lot of money, like money I've never seen before. Before high school, I have never seen $1,000 in my bank account ever. The most money maybe was $700. So like, when I was making, during this landscaping period, when I was making like $600 to like $2,000 a day, my life changed because I realized what was possible if you actually put the work in and you stayed consistent. We were waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. We were studying. We were, practicing our sales. We were, door knocking. We were doing things that people weren't doing. Right? And it taught me a lot about hard work ethic and all of this stuff. But let me get to the point, right? The point is basically that during this period, I was learning a lot, and I actually continued to do this the following year. But when landscaping died out, I lived in the Midwest, so like when it died out and I didn't have a lot of landscape to actually landscape, because it was snow, I didn't know what to do, but I stayed waking up at 5 a.m. I continued to learn sales. I continued to try social media out. I continued to try things out and try that same hustle that I learned in the summer, but with other things. Now, what I was doing and what I'm getting at is that the money part was my motivation, right? It was like, I need to make that amount of money. I need to work hard to do that, right? That's what I thought. But all it was doing was making me make bad decisions. It was making me not really the person I wanted to be. It was making me stressed out. I was always contemplating myself. Not a lot of people saw it, but I was always contemplating myself, and I was always debating myself, and I would get down on myself. And even though later, after winter passed, we went to Houston, and we were still grinding, we were still locked in, and let me get to this real quick. I'm gonna get to the point I'm trying to get to. Hold up. Be patient with me. But, in January, this is when I was in college. So in January, it was winter break, and we decided to go to Houston for like 3 weeks to go try landscaping there. And me and my business partner together, like, unstoppable. We were actually unstoppable. And we went there. I had no money. He paid for the whole thing. He got an Airbnb, and he paid for the whole thing, and I was just staying with him, right? He needed me to come with him, so I came with him, and I didn't have no money, right? But I saw an opportunity that we could make money in Houston, which I needed at the time. So I was like, fuck it, we ball. We're gonna go. And we went, and we're still going to the gym out there. We're going to Lifetime out there. And that's where I met my day trading mentor out there. Now, what I really want to point out from this whole story is that things will line up for you if you do the right things. Things will go your way if you do the right things. I met my day trading mentor out there. He showed us his cars. He showed us his crib. It was a cool experience, but that was a turning point for me because I met someone who could change my life, right? And I saw that he was, was a good person, and I trusted him. So that's who we met out there. So when we came back, I'm still in this grind mode, locked in mode type of mindset, but I wasn't really, being very disciplined on myself. I was still super young and all that I was still super young and I was still trying to figure everything out. But because of this, it was dragging me down because my mental health, like, I thought I was like a failure. You know, there was just a lot of shit going on in my head. But next landscaping season comes in, and it's like May, and we were still grinding, but you know, I started to feel like not myself anymore. I started to feel like a whole nother person, like, you know, this isn't me. And you know, I just started to feel really bad. And even though I was making money during this next landscaping period and I was saving, it just didn't seem worth it because I was losing myself. And that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like I was chasing money so much to the point where I was losing myself, and I lost myself. And you know, I had to leave landscaping. I had to leave the landscaping business because I just didn't know how to deal with myself anymore. And that's what I'm trying to get to. It's just not worth it, because who you are as a person is much far greater and more important and more valuable than how much money you make. I promise you, and I'll prove it. I stopped landscaping, you know, he did his thing, business partner, hella successful with his landscaping business. And you know, some would say I missed out on a lot of money. Some would say that was a stupid decision. Some would say, you know, that was like your best network or whatever. We still, you know, we're still cool, but I know what I'm capable of. He knows what I'm capable of, so I'm not really worried about any of that. And I just want him to do good, you know. I don't have any bad intentions for him. Whatever we went through for us to leave, for me to leave, that's our personal business. But at the end of the day, it's never deep enough to where I'm gonna stop supporting him. You know, we've been through a lot together. So, you know, I left, and I left a lot of money on the table. But I also had a lot of money saved up from, you know, my short time in landscaping. So what I did was I bought that mentorship from the guy I met in Houston. And I was in that mentorship, and then I had money saved up, and I put it all in my trading account, most of it, and I paid off my rent for the summer. So I didn't have to worry about money like that over the summer. So then my goal over the summer, this is pretty long, but my goal over the summer was basically to find myself again, to find peace with myself again. And that was literally my main goal over the whole summer. How can I find myself again? How can I gain peace again? Who am I? I lost myself completely. I could blame it on him. I could blame it on the fact that, you know, my business partner was a workaholic, and I felt bad if I wasn't working as hard as him or whatever the case may be. I could have done that, but you know, I have to take accountability for my actions. I have to understand that it was my choice at the end of the day. So that's why I had to take the whole summer off to figure out who I am. What I'm really getting to is that I started to find myself again, and I started to be patient with myself again. I started to accept myself again. I started to understand myself again. And where I'm at today was not who I was like 3-4 months ago. And I feel like I am completely aligned with what I need to do with my life. I am very clear on where I'm going with my life. I'm not really trying to, you know, try too hard anymore. It's not really hard anymore because I took the time to figure out what I need to do. So now life is kind of on, you know, it's on easy mode. It's boring, but it's on easy mode. I can't complain. You feel me? I can't complain. Life feels like it's on easy mode because I'm aligned with what I need to do. A year ago from August, that's when I first started learning day trading, and I was grinding it, and then I stopped. Then I would grind it again, and I'd stop. Then I met Sire. Then I'd grind it again, then I'd stop. Then I entered the mentorship. Then I started trading. Then I started losing a bunch of money. So then I had to, then I had to start paper trading again. But my whole point is that it's not gonna happen overnight, right? But I do know that this is meant for me just because of what I wanna do in life. Everything I wanna do in life matches up, and it should match up, and it should match up for you. Everything you want to do, anything you want to do, it should match up to, your opportunities, to the people you meet, to every single thing should match up. And if it doesn't match up, that's because you are not being the person you need to be. You're not being the person you need to be. You think that you can hide from yourself. You can't. You literally can't. You have to put the time into yourself. And another thing I want to get to is that, about this legacy and like the long term, not the short term, because the short term is always good. Short term is always good, bro. Short term is always good. But what happens when you lose it all? Who are you? That's my point. We're kings. We're men. We're supposed to, build something. We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to like lead. But you can't do that if your foundation is not strong. Right? If your foundation is not strong, you're not going to get anywhere. So another thing I want to point out is that right now my life is pretty boring. I trade, I go take care of my body, I pray, I work, I go to sleep, I eat. That's literally most of what I do. It was so boring that I was like, I need to start something else. Like, I need to make money, right? That's my old self thinking. That's my old self thinking out of scarcity, thinking that I don't have enough. Whole time I'm on the right path. So what I'm starting to work on now is just my soft skills. How can I improve myself as a person? What do I lack? What am I not good at right now? I could tell you right now that I'm not good at speaking. At least not as good as I want to be. My speech could be better. My communication could be better. My psychology could be better. All of these things I'm gonna start learning behind the scenes. So then when everything lines up, I'm the person I need to be to acquire my biggest dream. To acquire everything I've ever wanted. I need to be that person. My financial literacy could be better. All of this stuff could be better. So that's what I'm gonna work on. And I'm telling you this because what could you work on that's not money related that will help you in the future? Help you build a foundation, help you become a better person. For some of you guys, it might be, controlling your emotions, understanding your emotions. For some of you guys, it might be, learning how to build a business. For some of you guys, it could be learning how to learn a certain skill, how to cook, how to be a leader, how to be, the best boyfriend to your girlfriend, how to, keep God in your life. It could be anything. But you're the only person that knows what you can do better for yourself. And it doesn't have to be big. Make it small things. And make it so you're not putting so much stress on yourself, but it needs to get done so you can improve as a person. I know once I start getting better at speech, communication, financial literacy, psychology, and marketing, like, I'm gonna be the exact person I need to be successful with anything else I want to do in life. It's all about your skill set and who you are as a person. That's all I want to leave with you guys. It's about your skill set and who you are as a person. And then you can do anything you want in life. You can get any job. If you want to work a job, you can work any job you want. If you want to build a business, you can build any business you want. If you want to talk to people for a living, travel with people, you could talk to anybody you want. You feel me? But it comes down to who you are as a person. If that person that you are right now, do they align with who you want to be? And if it doesn't, start something that will. Change something that will. And if it does, be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, and continue to be consistent with that version of yourself every day. FANASI, JULENE, a world to be you, your best self. It's Donnie, and I'm out this motherfucker. Peace.